What up? Oh, I want that phony YouTube energy. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. No, it's ridiculous, Evan. Come on, be real with the people. But this is just, the energy that I bring to my friends is like, yo, dude, what's up? So I kind of want to bring the same thing. Rest in peace, headphone users, if you will. I'm a little bit sick right now, so forgive me for any coughing or snorting or sniffing or, that's all a part of it. The date is April 26th, Sunday, 2026. And it's about 10 after 8. Let me turn down the fan here so you can just hear the low rumble of my vehicle. I guess what's the point of this? What's the point? What's the point of any of this? I just want to give you an update on where I am in my life, what's going on, and just put myself out there, really, and to share where I'm at right now and where I plan to be in the future. And I'm hoping that doing this is going to not only hold myself accountable, but it's going to attract people who are on the same wavelength, who have a similar philosophy to me. Maybe they're just a few steps behind in their journey, and they can look at me and they go, there's a guy who thinks similar to me, or he has similar values, or he's got a similar philosophy, and I can see him progressing, and here's what's worked for him. Maybe those are some things I can implement in my life. So, where am I at right now? Well, I'm trying to become a firefighter. I went to school a couple years ago, and it was called a pre-employment program, and I was naive and thought that, okay, I just do the program, I graduate, and a job will land right in my lap. And of course, that's not what happened. Turns out firefighting is very competitive. And you can imagine, because it is such an esteemed profession. You do have to be a bit of a niche person to go into this industry, to want to do this job. But at the same time, there's a tremendous amount of qualified candidates. So it's highly competitive. So I'm in the process of becoming a firefighter. And it's just like life in general. It's paradoxical in that, how are you supposed to become something until you are the thing? Like, how do you be the thing before you're the thing? And where these jobs are so competitive, it's like, how do I operate and think and get the skills and personality and attitude of a firefighter before I am actually employed as a firefighter? So, just over a year ago, about a year and a half, I moved home with my father to volunteer in the community as a firefighter. And so I've been volunteering for close to a year and a half, and that's been very helpful in terms of getting experience and etc. But it's not enough to get me over the edge. These fire departments, they want to see that you're consistent, not only in your identity, that I am a firefighter, but in your work ethic over time. They want to see, okay, this guy's not going to quit. He's not going to go anywhere. This is who he is. And so I made it really far in a hiring for a fire department in Atlantic, Canada. But I wasn't chosen to move forward. Heartbreaking. But it's really instilled in me that, okay, do you want this or not? And I think that can be applied to anything in life. It's like, anything that's easy, anybody can do it, right? If it's difficult, okay, that's when you really prove, do you want it or not? So I had to go back to the drawing board, reevaluate, okay, what am I doing? What's my trajectory? What's my best course of action here? And almost a prerequisite for firefighting is, it's emergency response. So medical skills are a big part of it. So I kind of went back to school. I did a short course in emergency medical responder. I'm now studying for the COPPER exam, which is the Canadian Organization of Paramedic Regulators, so that I can become an EMR, an emergency medical responder, ride the ambulance, get those medical skills and that experience, and then combined with my volunteering experience, I think that should put me over the edge and get me this job. So, where do I go? Where do I go from here? I think a big part of me not uploading videos to YouTube is because I've felt a lot of shame, because I'm 30 years old and I still live with my parent. You know what I mean? And yeah, in other cultures that's totally normal, but in our culture that's kind of frowned upon. It's like, all right, you're a man now, you gotta provide for yourself, your own roof over your head, your own food, etc., etc. So I found it difficult to really own and share my life with others. And I felt a lot of shame and guilt about that and whatever. But I'm not that I'm over that now, but it's kind of like, come on, are you gonna fall into that trope of delaying what you want because you're making excuses, essentially? You either act or you make excuses. That's it. It's ultimately, it can kind of be categorized binary like that. And what do I want? Well, I want to have a positive influence on the world. Like, I live in a time where I have a device that I can take a video and I can upload it to the internet where anybody on the planet can look at this. And for those of you who align with my message, with my values, with my philosophies, it would be a crime, it would be a sin for me not to express myself and to connect with you and to hide away when I feel like this is my role, this is my duty, is to evolve. That's the whole point of this channel, and to share that with you, share that journey and inspire you maybe to do the same thing in your own lane, whatever that looks like. And for me, I just want to evolve in all aspects. So I started strength training. I started lifting weights, maybe a decade ago, but strength training about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and that's been going well, and I will certainly provide updates on the progress there. But career is a big part of your life. I think I used to struggle with the idea of work in general, because I get wrapped up in the online advertisements and shillery that goes on. I'm sure, like, we all have at some point, and you start to believe, like, okay, well, how come this guy, I used to point to the example all the time of the 8-year-old on YouTube who reviews toys and makes millions of dollars a year, and be like, why should I have to work for much less than that? But I think that was framing it incorrectly and asking the wrong questions. And now my frame is, how can I give back to the world? What cross can I bear? What sacrifice can I make in my life that gives benefit to others? And in return, I get a roof over my head, and I get good food in my fridge, and I live in an area that's safe and secure, and I can have some level of autonomy and freedom. And for me, I've decided over the years that duty or that profession or that craft or whatever, that role that I'm going to play is firefighter. For a while anyways. I would love to get a full career and whatever, but I think that I'm just going to keep evolving, whatever that looks like, whether it's evolving in the trade, rising up the ranks, or expanding into safety in general, or I don't know. I don't know where my life journey will take me, but I just know the next step, well, the few steps down the road is becoming a firefighter and getting employed. So the process has been reverse engineering the steps. So it's like, okay, well, what would a firefighter do if he wasn't a firefighter yet? Okay, well, he'd get really good at his skills. He'd read up on all of the knowledge and the academic requirements to understanding the role of a firefighter, and you can break that into all its other components. Building construction and fire dynamics and search and rescue and all that stuff. And I'm at the point where, okay, I'm doing that, but that's not enough. What else can I do? And that next step is EMR, Emergency Medical Responder. So that's my situation right now. I am, just to keep you updated, I guess, day to day, I'm spending a lot of time studying. I'm in the books. The exam is just a week and a half from now. So that's no time at all. I'm really in the home stretch. So my procrastination can no longer procrastinate. And the time is now to study. So I've been studying. I work part-time overnights as a security guard or a bouncer, doorman, slash server slash host. I kind of perform many roles at the only overnight or the only 24-hour restaurant in the downtown area that I live, or close to it. So that's been a very interesting experience. In many, many ways, which I might go into in the future. But and then strength training. I spend a lot of time in the gym, getting stronger, getting that pure strength, but strength endurance as well. And thankfully, a lot of that training transfers over to the demands of firefighting. So it's making me a better firefighter as well. But it's also helping me just organize and what's the word I'm looking for? Conceptualize the idea of taking small, incremental, consistent steps in the direction that I want to go, and to see the, not just progressive overload, but to see the compounding of the benefits of that practice. It's been enlightening, if you will. So that's where I'm at with that. And that's just one aspect of who I am, the career component, the financial component, the service component. But I do see myself continuing to evolve, continuing to learn and to grow and to expand as an individual, and express myself on many levels, because I have a unique perspective, and I have a voice that I want to share, and I want to connect with you, and help you evolve and grow and learn and expand and express and all of that stuff. So I guess that's where I'm at right now. I will continue to work, to move forward, to strive, generally speaking. But I hope to be creating more videos as I gain more confidence and I process that shame and that guilt and individuate, as Jung would say. So I'm really excited about that. I'm feeling very hopeful for the future, I went through all those stages of the black pill and the red pill and, justifying negative behavior because I was in a negative headspace and had, negative things done towards me. So that's, hurt people, right? And you'll continue that cycle until you become aware of it, and you spend some time in it, and you sit in it, and you reflect, and you go, what am I doing here? Why am I doing these things that I'm doing? Why am I behaving this way? And then you can start to evaluate it and go, I don't really like this. my conscience tells me that I'm not really doing the right thing in a lot of these situations that I'm in. And, I'm still dealing with that. That's a, ongoing process. That's just the human condition, I guess. But, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I won't spill all the beans and tell you exactly where I see myself in 5-10 years, or where I'd like to go next or whatever. But that's where I've got my sights set, and I'm working towards it. General advice that I would have for anybody is evaluate what's important to you. And if something that is important to you is lacking, then, the stress that you're experiencing that is resulting in negative coping mechanisms, if you're addicted to substances, or you've got negative outlook, pessimistic, if you're indulging in harmful behaviors to yourself or others, those are just symptoms of a deeper spiritual problem, which is you're disconnected from your purpose here on earth, and you need to address that. That is your duty and responsibility as an autonomous human being. You got to stop making excuses for your circumstances. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your teachers, or your classmates, or your friend group, or whatever, your surroundings, your environment. Even though that's a huge factor, those are very huge factors. But you have to be the seed of change in your life. You have to take ownership and control, and you have to take the smallest step towards what is right. And what does that look like for you? Well, it looks like empowerment. What's going to make you more powerful? And power is measured in the extent to which you can affect change, and hopefully positive change. If there's something positive you wish you were doing but you're doing negative things, okay, first stop the negative things and replace it with positive things on a very basic level. You are, to some degree, you're an animal, so you have to wrestle with your animal nature, and sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. So I hope I'm not speaking in too many generalities. I'm hoping that for those with the eyes to see and the ears to listen, that this message resonates, and it just gives you that little boost that you needed to feel seen and heard and understood, because I'm with you. If any of this resonated with you, this is exactly what I'm experiencing and what I have been experiencing for the last little bit. So, make those necessary sacrifices. Sometimes it doesn't feel fair, and in many ways life isn't fair. I think it all does balance out in the end. I think if you're a good person and you make righteous sacrifices, for the greater good, I'd like to think that karma will treat you positively. Some of those generalized symbolic ideas of religion, where if you're a good person you go to a good place in the afterlife, not literally but symbolically, I think that's true. And worst case, you experience heaven on earth, right? You experience positive relationships with people. Everywhere you go, you learn something from people, you connect, you help people, you share your insights, and that helps them, and that makes them more willing to help you and to share their insights with you and help you overcome your issues or struggles or obstacles or challenges or blah 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 blah. So anyways, we're going on 20 minutes here. If you're still watching, you're goated with the sauce. I love you very much, on not on a like superficial cliche, oh my god, intimate way, but just an appreciation. I appreciate you, that's all. So maybe it comes from whatever. I don't even care while you're watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully something I said resonated with you, and I wish you the best on your journey. If this sparked any ideas or reflections on your own experience, or anything that you just feel like highlighting or commenting on, feel free. Please let me know in the comments. Please connect. If you liked it, like it. If you want to hear more of this and you want to see more videos, please subscribe. And it's just more fuel for the fire, baby. Just keeps us going. And by us, I mean me. So anyways, peace, love, blessings, strength, courage, all that stuff. You got this. Whatever you're facing in life, whatever the challenge is, you're alive. You can overcome it. All right. Much more to share in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and talk to you later. Peace.